I suppose for context, and some parents who might be listening in, we have to give them a little bit of an introduction to what forest school is. What does it actually mean, so that we are all on the same page about what we should know about forest school?
So for people who, new to the concept, I would say forest school is a practice, is a way of life, pedagogy, as people call it. But the way we practice it is there's a lot of child lab, meaning the children, we don't have so much structure around it. So if people were to go to Google it now and see the whole range of forest school in Singapore, there's variation. Yeah, but the general focus we understand and believe in is that we empower the child, we believe in the child, we trust the child to be able to develop their own interests based on their own motivation. That's one. And then the other part is we rely heavily on the environment as the main teacher. So as adults, we are kind of like guides, facilitators, but we're not teaching them things. We do share with them, but we don't necessarily, everybody gather over and then I'm going to teach you ABC. It's like, there's a spider, some interested, we can share. Some not interested, they're out there rolling in the mud or something. So it's that orientation. So by and large, that's kind of forest school that we practice.
You know, the thing about forest school is, I talk about my experience in the forest with the fireflies and all that. There's always this sense of danger that comes with what you just shared about what forest school could be. I mean, spiders and then rolling in the mud. Like, what if, they get hurt or they fall or they slip on a rock and hit their head? And, there's all this fear, right? That comes from the unknown and being in an environment that obviously many of us did not grow up in. If you talk to our parents, they just go to the river, they, climb trees and all that. But here, because we never had that exposure, the concept of forest school can be quite intimidating and scary for parents, especially when we're so precious about our kids and we don't want them to get hurt.
I think I like that question and the subject because I've been sharing a lot of people. I think there's a difference between fear and danger. And often parents are reacting based on fear. And interestingly, they don't respond to danger properly. So I give you an example. So very, very often parents don't realize car park is a huge danger. Like the moving cars in the car park. And everybody kind of let their guards down around car parks. Whereas in the forest, they get very jumpy when they see all the rocks and slides. But the interesting thing is kids, when they're in the forest, they're actually very aware. And they will actually not be so like brash about going there and then jump off. It doesn't work that way. They build upon that confidence when they're in that environment. Whereas in the car park setting or urban setting, very often urban setting, a lot of the dangers are not identified or are forgotten and carelessly people let it happen. And so the funny thing is in forest school, as practitioners, we get more aware and more kind of anxious in urban setting than in the forest. Because urban setting, we know people drop their guards down.
Right.
So the interesting thing is because it's between fear and danger. And so how I define it is fear is a lot of time what people imagine, but danger is more of there is real avenue. So for example, if something is protruding out of the ground, a particular metal rod, that thing is a danger. That thing has to be addressed. But is the playing dangerous? No, the play is not dangerous. That thing is dangerous. So the playing around the thing will cause parents or practitioner to imagine and therefore the fear of what's possible. So I suggest people then remove that metal rod. Then your danger is removed, then you don't have the fear already. Yeah. So I often think it's really defining and differentiating these two aspects that will help parents and practitioners as well.
What are the core principles that differentiate forest schools from all the other traditional education methods?
I think principally forest school, in its especially the outdoor element is very strong in terms of interacting with the environment, allowing the environment to be the main teacher. So that subscription to the idea that the environment acts on us and the strong belief that the environment acts on us as much as we affect the environment. That is one of the core principles that is slightly different because I think in most other education pedagogy, the focus is very heavy on the child,
Mm.
the individuals taking on the responsibility. But for forest school practices, the deeper ones, the environment play a huge role, and we are also the environment. So we see ourselves less of as an individual possessing and controlling, but more as an individual as the environment.